Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the global stage right here at Switch 2025. The question we have is first, have you had lunch? Yes, no, maybe. Okay, grab some lunch in just a bit. But first, this is going to be a really insightful discussion. You know, the global stage is about connecting your businesses with global opportunities. And one of everybody's favorite destinations, especially Singaporeans, is Japan. We love Japan. We love the people. We love the culture. We love the market access. But also, sometimes we want to bring our businesses to Japan, but it may be challenging or there may be some great opportunities. And that's what we're here to discuss about. The Japan External Trade Organization, also known as JETRO, is here today with this market access session. And we're going to find out the opportunities and also the challenges about taking your business into Japan. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our keynote speaker, Dr. Tan Yo Kee, CEO of Sound Eye, to the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yao Kee. I'm the founder of Sound Eye. So, 6 years ago, my mother-in-law fell in the hospital. She was on the floor, near the bed, crying and screaming for help for more than 30 minutes before the nurse found her. Unfortunately, she never fully recovered after that and passed away 3 years ago. This is not just happening to her. In fact, there are many, many falls happening around the world, and it's costing us nearly $300 billion every year. There are many solutions available in the market to prevent falls near the bedside. First, we have the restraints that no one ever likes. There are also bed and radar sensors that does not provide useful information and have performance issues as well. Next, we have thermal sensors that can still see your private parts outline and camera that intrudes your privacy. For us in Sound Eye, we would like to develop a solution that can see and yet preserves your privacy. Hence, we developed Lasso, a portable device that employs depth imaging technology to classify your body posture without the use of any camera or any software masking. We have, as tested by nurses in the hospital, our solution is very easy to deploy and use. We have touchscreen for the nurse to configure the device to meet the needs of every individual patient. We also have auto bed recognition that removes the need of nurses to perform any manual calibration as well. In terms of performance, Lasso can achieve nearly perfect accuracy in the real world, as we use more than 1.5 million images to train the AI model. Our paid customers include hospitals and aged care facilities. However, Lasso is also used for surveillance and workplace safety as well. As of right now, Lasso can prevent more than 100,000 falls every year. The development of Lasso is not easy. It is very difficult. Now, let me share a story with you of how we developed Lasso in Japan and Singapore. So, long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, for some reason, someone joined the Global Innovation Alliance organized by Enterprise Singapore and Leave a Nest. That was my first time understanding and experiencing the business opportunities and the market segment in Japan. As you might recall, during 2022, the COVID is still around. So the GIA program was conducted remotely, and I've never stepped into Japan once. However, after we completed the GIA, I'm still very, very keen to expand Lasso to the Japanese market. Hence, I've applied for Enterprise Singapore's market MRA grant that allows business to expand to overseas market. So using the grant, I also hire BA partners as my consultant to expand to the Japanese market. So using the grant, the MRA grant, and also support from JETRO, I've visited more than 6 different cities together with BA partners to meet up with over 20 different organizations, all within 10 working days. I think the traveling is the most exciting part, and it's very, very convenient as well because Shinkansen is very easy. I also have to give double thumbs up to the sake, umeshu, and the Japanese food, to the Japanese delicious food. Yeah. So in 2023, end of 2023, together with Exo Global, which is our first Japanese partner, we deployed Lasso to the aged care facility. After using it for a few months in Japan, the customers gave us very good positive feedback, and that gave us the confidence that, hey, probably Lasso is something that can be deployed in Japan as well. Early 2024, Soundeye was the only foreign startup to be selected in the GAP-K project program, which is organized by City of Kitakyushu. Through this program, we have access to agencies and aged care facilities in City of Kitakyushu. I thought as long as the AI works, everything will be fine. But boy, am I wrong. Because the more that we deploy in Japan, the more we understand that, hey, we are no different from other competitors in Japan as well. It is hard to deploy, it is hard to configure, needs calibration, we're in big trouble. Hence, in 2020, on the same year, I've decided to collaborate with agencies in Japan and Singapore to improve Lasso. We try to understand the nurses' real-world challenges in Japan and Singapore. For example, I can give you a few examples. First, nurses say, hey, you cannot drill in Japan. Drilling is a big no-no in Japan. Drilling in Singapore will take 3 months of approval. Nurses also told us that it is very expensive to deploy a device to every bed as well. So to handle all this no drilling and affordability, we come up with the idea of a portable lasso. The nurses also told us that, hey, I'm going to move in the bed out, in and out, and we need to perform manual calibration. To address this, we teach Lasso to automatically recognize the bed. The last example that I would like to share is the nurse say they want to configure the device for every different patient as well. So what we did, we placed a touchscreen into Lasso as well. So all this can be done. We need to understand the problem. We need to talk to the end users. However, while developing the portable Lasso, we spend too much effort and time. It affects our revenue. Hence, during that year, our revenue drops by 40%, 40. Luckily, once we completed the portable Lasso, our revenue increased by 370% within 5 months. And all this is thanks because we managed to improve the Lasso and generate a unique selling proposition to the market. End of 2024, we have JPEX Asia become our distributor and strategy investor. They help us to distribute Lasso to Sunning region and also they help us to expand to the US market as well. So we're pretty lucky to have our JPEX Asia to become our strategy investor. Early this year, we registered a company in City of Kitakyushu. In fact, we're the first business that registered there. We faced so much challenges. No one knows how to register a foreign startup. It took us about 3 months to complete all the business registration. We also managed to get Lasso to be cataloged inside the Techno 8 catalog, and also managed to get the TICE code. The TICE code allows each care facility to purchase Lasso with a certain subsidy. So everything is set right now. So if you're trying to expand to Japan, I have 6 tips for you. First, contact Express Singapore, Jetro, and Leave a Nest because they might have grants, they might have business contacts, or even programs that might help you out. Second, you need to quickly find a Japanese representative to engage Japanese business partners in Japanese language. This is very, very important because if you speak English, they speak Japanese, it will take a lot of effort and time to complete anything. Next is, Sorry, I can't see it. Quick, you can spend so much time talking and talking until the cow goes home. But the most important is you need to do live trials. By doing so, you are able to show your solution works in Japan and get the customer's trust as well. So don't keep talking. Moving hands is much important. Okay. Find the right city. Not all the city is the same. Some city focuses on manufacturing, agriculture, fintech. Luckily, city of Kitakyushu, they want to find ways how to improve the quality of life for their older adults. Hence, we have a good connection there. The fifth one, try to find right investors. Okay, because you cannot conquer the entire Japan market by yourself. Okay, so learn how to share the cake and move on, scale fast. The last one I'd like to share is there are too many Japanese competitors. Do not underestimate them. Okay, learn the market needs. Learn what the competitors can do and what they can't do. What they can't do, you must do. Okay. So I guess we spent about 3 years to expand the market. We make a lot of mistakes. We also learn a lot of stuff, adapt and move on. For us in Sawai, we believe we can use technology to save lives. Testing. We can, but through dignity and compassion. Hence, if you'd like to save lives and make some money along the way, come talk to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tan. Thank you so much. Sir, if you could stay on stage for the panel discussion, that would be greatly appreciated. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our panelists. First, our moderator, Daiki Kumamoto, Director of Untro D Capital Asia, along with two of our other panel speakers. Thank you so much. We have Kuki Wai, Director of Innovation Promotion at Jetro Singapore. And last but not least, Yo Mei Ling, Director of Northeast Asian, Oceania, and Global Market Strategy and Policy at Enterprise Singapore. Ladies and gentlemen, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Daiki from Antrod Capital Asia. Antrod itself, it's a venture capital firm originated from Japan, investing into Southeast Asia and bringing in Southeast Asian startups into the Japanese market. I'm pretty much sure from after Yaoki's presentation, you most have an image of why and how of Japan. But today I brought in our experts and specialists of supporting startups or partners to head into the Japanese market together with us. Now, before you go into your brief introductions, right? This session is actually hosted every year. Who has joined last year's session? We got to do more harder, it's very limited. But nevertheless, this whole year, right, in Japan, a huge change. Of course, one starting off of a new prime minister, Miss Takaichi, our first female leader of the nation. Secondly, we had our lowest birth rate of within the whole 125 years, which has been a huge issue in Japan of decreasing population and changing the whole pyramid of our population, which is exactly why Yaoki's situation is very much needed. But nevertheless, right, because of this whole big change in this whole 1 year, I believe that there's a whole necessity of different technologies coming into solving issues of the Japan ecosystem as of today. So with that in place, right, I'll start off, I would like to pass it to the panelists to just briefly introduce yourself and also share a little bit about, how has this 1 year been for both Jetro, Enterprise Singapore, as well as Sound Eye, especially supporting startups going into the Japanese market. So I'll pass it on to Kiwai-san first.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm KY from Jetro, Japan External Trade Organization. So we are a Japanese government body that is really like the Japanese version of Enterprise Singapore here, which is our very good partner in Singapore. So we have been supporting lots of foreign companies that is interested to enter into the Japanese market. So previously, in the past year, we are more in concentrating in them setting up their own entity in Japan. But we do see that in order to even consider for an entity setup, they need to have business first. So we have extended the services to create more open innovation collaborations with the startups from overseas, with the Japanese large corporates that are also looking for foreign solutions that they could work together both for the Japanese market and the local market or the overseas market. So it's been this 1 year, we received lots more activities that we have been doing both together with Enterprise Singapore or even with Livernas and lots of other many foreign and local parties and in the whole world in trying to create a more interacting atmosphere and environment for both countries to come together to think how they could work hand in hand, not only for business in one country, but in multiple countries. And it's also not only with one country or with two countries, but multiple companies coming together, working maybe for one country. And lots of activities happening and lots of exciting companies that are even Japanese companies that are opening up, creating more innovations, problem statement that they are looking for solutions. So it's definitely an exciting market to look at from now onwards.
I see. Thanks. I'll be more than happy to ask about detailed and examples later, but I'll pass it to Mei Ling San first for explaining a bit about Enterprise Singapore and herself.
Okay. Hello, everyone. First of all, very warm welcome to everyone back to Switch, our 10th year of Switch. For those of you who are not familiar with Enterprise Singapore, I was going to say we are the Singapore version of Jetro, but I can't do that now. So we are the enterprise with a government agency under the Singapore Ministry of Trade and Industry that supports Singapore companies in their growth, both in Singapore as well as overseas. So I oversee the Northeast Asian markets, mainly Japan, Korea, as well as Oceania, so Australia, New Zealand as well. What's happened in the past year? I think the biggest thing is Trump Liberation Day, right? So I think that has definitely kept us at Enterprise Singapore and many of our companies are very busy. I think in terms of startups, some of the efforts I would say perhaps not that much of a change. I think similar to Kiwai's son, there is a steady momentum. In the aftermath, I guess after Liberation Day, and in view of some of the policies that Trump President Trump has rolled out, we were watching for what were going to be some of the other changes in other markets, in particular in the area of decarbonization, and we were quite relieved to see that actually Japan, like ourselves, are keeping the momentum in this area. And because Japan was always, one of the key opportunities we saw in Japan was always that of green transformation. Given that the momentum is still strong, both countries are still pushing ahead with our green economy goals, objectives. We see good opportunities in this area still. Of course, last year I also mentioned we have very similar demographic challenges. So we are also developing many solutions that are trying to address these demographic challenges. And I think this is another area that where we continue to see opportunities. And then finally, I think what maybe has changed a little bit and presents some opportunities for collaboration between Japan and Singapore could be in the area of, again, what we increasingly call, or what we call economic security. Sensitive technology areas where perhaps partners with more with aligned interests, fairly neutral partners can come together to collaborate on some of these sensitive technology areas. So I think that these are some of the bigger shifts I think we are seeing in the market.
Yeah, no, totally agree. Not just in terms of the aging population angle, but especially when it comes to climate change and environment security, right? The weather in Japan is just so crazy over these past several years, right? In this summer, it hit close to 40 degrees Singapore was even cooler than Japan, right? It's just you can image and see and really experience the fact that there is a huge change that we need to solve. And exactly the fact where Singapore and its and the Southeast Asian startups can really benefit and move into to Japan to really solve that situation that's going on. But to go back to Yaoki-san, right? I just want to understand a bit more from your presentation. Why exactly was Japan your first choice of global expansion? I mean, as Mei-Ling said, right? Mostly it's Europe, U.S., Israel, probably depending on the government, the political situations. But why exactly was it Japan?
So I guess the first reason is the market size. So if you compare Singapore and Japan, the hospital and the aged care facility, the market size between it's Singapore, Japan is 40 times over Singapore. 40 times. Okay, so that means if I have 100 the aged care facility in Singapore, you have 4,000. Okay, so I think that's the first reason. The second reason is because Japan is the mother of all aging. If I can make it in Japan, there are certain testimonial or hey, there's a certain kind of a recognition that hey, our solution will work in Japan. It also will work in other places as well. I think the third thing is we do have a Japanese corporate venture. So even before COVID-19, they have been asking me to expand to Japan. I was buying my ticket back in 2019. Hey, COVID strikes. Everything has to be on standstill until 2022.
Yeah, sorry. No, thanks for that. I guess the whole similarity of our environment in there and in the culture that we have, but also the fact that doing something well in Japan can also replicate to its next market or to its next step is something very great to hear. Is that it's still there, but also in a fact that as Japan being a manufacturing and a quality controlled environment, it's good to hear that that sort of reputation is still there, especially for startups per se. But do let's say Jetro as supporting different startups, unlike South Sound AI as well. Do you see a similar trend for startups to head into Japan because they want to sort of showcase it as a global quality control for the market?
Yes, and Japan has still and always be a country that represents high quality. So a lot of the companies that we are supporting also would like to take Japan as a very good case studies that they could bring to other countries of showing how high quality or how they could actually enter the Japanese market, which is always named as a difficult market to enter due to the language barrier and other business culture barriers. So many of them always say that if I can enter the Japanese market, there's nowhere in the world I cannot go to. So yeah, so it's I think it's something that is, yes, it's partially true, but it's definitely depending on, like what Yaoki has mentioned, a good partner or the right contact point that you should have to go to when you're entering the Japanese market.
I see. Do you see the similar thing, Mei-Ling, within Enterprise Singapore when you support different startups? Is really going to Japan a right strategy for different startups? And do you see it as a trend where going into Japan can really expand you further?
Yeah, I would say Japan definitely has its own attractions, right? Quite candidly, most startups, when they think about expanding overseas, especially Singapore startups, of course, they think of the immediate region, right? Southeast Asia. Just like how Japanese startups, when they come to Singapore, it's to sort of address the Southeast Asian markets. But of course, Japan has a much larger market potential. Also because of the higher spending power. So for sure, Japan is one of the markets of high potential for our companies. I would also add that not only from the consumer perspective, but if you look at just do a sort of MNC scan, right? Japan, of course, is home to many large Japanese corporates across many different domains. And increasingly, over the past several years, we've seen many of these Japanese corporates look out for their innovation capabilities. And that is really the other opportunity that we have observed a lot over the past few years. And that's, like I mentioned, across many different domains. So very strong, because in manufacturing, and of course, a lot of other areas. Then that is the opportunity for our startups to collaborate with these Japanese corporates.
Well, probably I just add one more. The reason why we expanded to Japan is because I think Japan has this innovative culture as well. Innovation for innovation.
Do we?
Yeah.
You
They
sure?
accept innovation, I would say. You might think that Japanese is very traditional. Very traditional. So when we first go into the Japanese market, we're telling them, hey, we're going to use sound and lights to save your lives. They're like, okay, let's give it a try.
Okay, you probably met the right people. I don't think that's the majority of the corporates in Japan. No offense, but sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I meet the right people that dare to take risk. So I guess that's why we are able to expand to the Japanese market. Japanese HK facilities say, hey, let's do it. So I think the most conservative trade in Japan might be healthcare and HK, but you'll be very surprised. They are like, hey, I need help. I really need help. I'm open to any innovation as well. So I guess hopefully I'm not talking just to that person and he likes my stuff. Hopefully the entire market is looking for innovation as well.
Okay, John.
Yeah, I would just wanted to add on, if I may just add on, it really helps that there are a lot of Japanese corporates in Singapore itself that are doing some of this innovation, R&D activities, whether it's construction, whether it's food. We're seeing a lot of collaborations, I guess organically, or even through some of the platforms that we are running, whether it's open innovation, co-innovation initiatives. So these have all created opportunities for, I think, more Singapore startups to work with Japanese corporates, partners, before they enter the market.
That's very true, actually. A lot of the investors that invest into our fund are also not just really looking for financial returns per se. It's more of really collaborating with startups within Southeast Asia. And the decision makers of those companies or financial institutes are very just like how Yaoki's one someone's saying, right? It's very let's just try it out. There was no due diligence at all. There's no checking at all. It was putting in 10 mil into the fund. Let's get started, right? It was more of a simple, easier relationship game, I would say, rather than a pure financial or a business decision as a result.
And maybe I like to make an additional point about Yaoki saying that Japan is open to innovation. So yes, they are, I would say. At the point when you talk about innovation, because Japan was used to very famous about manufacturing. So now, due to the lack of workforce, the aging population, they have to, or they are forced to be digitalized. This is what the government, as strategy-wise, is also trying to promote. So they are, yes, open to new solutions on innovation. But the next issue is, after the POC, how do you make it commercialized or to actual products? I think that's the difficult part.
Okay, then let's go into a bit more of how to enter Japan and what to do in order to make a great change, right? So Yaoki, you mentioned in your presentation, first of all, it was Kita-Kyushu. Kita-Kyushu is like an area for gangsters. I mean, it's not a place for a normal startup to visit and do business, right? Why was it Kita-Kyushu, and what was the sort of support that the city has provided you so far in order to really expand your business in this area?
Okay, anyone from Kita-Kyushu here? So I don't offend them. Oh, there's one. Hi. Okay. I guess Tokyo is a vibrant city. A lot of big companies, a lot of startups goes there. Tokyo Metropolitan government is doing a very good job every year organizing Tokyo Tech Sushi, whatever. However, I think it's too congested, it's too busy, it's too noisy. For me, because time is money. Time is money for everyone. Okay. So how long do you want to spend time to? I spent 3 years to do this. Okay, and I don't think it's long. It's also not too short as well. So the reason why I find the city of Kita-Kyushu is because they are willing to accept a foreign company to do crazy stuff, to innovate. Because I think on the city level, they also want to to somehow vibrant the startup ecosystem or the business foreign companies to come in as well. So it's a win-win situation for both parties. Sedap kita should more companies go there, their economy will become better. For us, we have opportunities to expand our business. Hey, we win as well. So sometimes when I talk to people, why I always lack the the non-capital kind of a city, because I think they're hungrier. They're very hungry for innovation. They're very hungry to spike up their economy. I guess why not?
Very true, and food is also very good too, right? That's probably one reason. But from Jetro's perspective, right, do you also see startups heading into non-city areas like Osaka and Tokyo? And if so, where else?
So, yeah, as what your guest mentioned, that because the first thing, most people, when they, or companies, when they look at a new country, they go for the areas where they have the highest population or the area with the most number of corporates, partners that they can look at. But this also means that you have more competition. You are looking at working, you need to fight with more competitors. Whereas the regional areas, there might be less partners you can work with. But if you work with one partner, that is already almost monopolizing the whole area. It's a big business itself. So it's also it's really depending on how you look at the business, and we do see a trend of shifting of companies looking out at the regional part of Japan, which there are 47 in total. And the government, the individual local governments are working very hard to try to attract by using different incentive and also supporting programs, working with JETRO, where we have offices in all the prefectures. And that's why you see a big group representing here today at Switch, and all of them are really welcoming you to look at their individual region. And also, it also look at which sector you belong to. It doesn't mean that all industries are suitable for one city. Certain cities might be more suitable for certain sectors, where you're even looking at the aging population, where the hospitals are still the very traditional ones. Definitely there might be more opportunities in there. Whereas if you're looking at mobility, that if you're looking for like another Singapore company that has successfully entered like Swap Mobility, so they started by entering through the regional part of Japan and then spreading out to the other parts. So it really looks at how you're looking at the market, who you are targeting to. So JETRO, or together with all the local government bodies, we are trying to create more opportunities by showing you the different available of chance and networking through programs, acceleration programs, business matching, exhibition opportunities within the different events in different parts of Japan, for you to really strategize yourself, looking and targeting at the right market you should be looking at.
Yeah, most of the people that we work to also are regional banks or regional SMEs, right? I mean, to be honest, right, all startups in Southeast Asia, they want to work with the Honda, the Toyota, the big boys. But I always say, never estimate the power of a regional SME. They are crazy. They've been running a company for 120 years. They have a lot of cash, and it's a single decision maker, right? It's a family-owned business. The speed and the timing and the commitment that they can really offer to global startups is just next level. And I see it a way much more easier path to go for our fellows within this area to really open up the Japan market together with those sort of players, rather than to go for the big boys, which I hope nobody else is really listening. But nevertheless, so now that we know that it's a bit more about regional area expansion in Japan, not just Tokyo, Osaka, or the big boys, but there's always the regulatory aspect that every startup sort of struggles to overcome. Now, I first want to understand from Mei-Ling, right? Looking into different startups heading into Japan and comparing it to startups coming into Singapore, what's sort of the biggest issue or difficulty for a startup to head into the Japanese market, whether it being setting up an entity or regulatory approvals or finding the right government institute, things like that? What do you see from a government perspective?
Yeah, I think all the challenges you mentioned clearly are right there for the foreign companies looking to expand into Japan. I think one one of the issues, perhaps, or one of the things maybe for companies to take note of is don't underestimate really the amount of time and effort and resources you need to put into a market like Japan, where relationship building is really very important. I think you were talking to Yaoki earlier. He is, I think, in Japan every other week. So if you have very diversified interests across different markets, and you are still hoping to make some entry, significant entry into Japan, and you don't have a very big team, I think that's going to be quite a challenge for you. So it's really a market that you need to devote quite a bit of time, your own personal time as a founder, probably into, and then I think over time you'll see the rewards from there.
I see, and I totally agree. I mean, from Yaoki, right? From your presentation, you did sort of share your step ups into coming into Japan, but I'm guessing there was a lot of hurdles that you overcome throughout that process. Especially, you were just talking about your Japan subsidiary as well. What's sort of the process like, and what should startups really think before they really consider setting up something or creating something in Japan?
So if you want to set up a company in Japan, please plan 6 months ahead. Because 3 months is meant for business registration. And I took nearly 2 or 3 months again just to get the business bank account up. So we visited a lot of banks here and there. They rejected us because we're a foreign company. They don't know how to handle this.
Wow.
So Kiwai from Jetro, hey, why not I introduce you to a bank in Kyushu? Okay, let's do it. Done. Yeah, so I guess sometime Japan, when you do bank accounts or business registration or whatever, business registration, we do have endorsement from the city directly, just to vouch that we are not money laundering.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess all this testimonials, recognition does help a bit here and there, because no one knows a foreign company what they're doing. So all this recognition or testimonials does help a bit here and there. I have 4 company chops, 4 chops.
Tops?
Stamps, sorry. Stamps. 3 for company, 1 for my own.
So Japanese.
I don't know how to use it, so I pass it to my director in Japan to use it. So those are the challenges that
I see.
we have to brainwash ourselves. In Singapore, signature, e-signature is done. Bank in Japan, very, very traditional. There's no e-banking. You have to go to the bank. So every month I'll go to Hitakushu, handle all the bank stuff,
Really?
make the payment.
God.
So those are the few challenges. So I think if you really want to expand to Japan, you need to put, I think as mentioned earlier, you need to put a lot of effort, time, personal time. I think the most important is your greed as well. Greed.
I see.
Because if you think that, hey, it's too hassle, you will suddenly just give up as well.
I understand, Jetro was really supporting you a lot in this process. How, Kiwai-san and your team, how are you trying to make this more of a easier and fast-track process for startups to go into Japan? Or is Jetro providing any programs relating that?
So that's why I think the essence of Jetro here. So a lot of people always, when they think about Japan, yes, it's a potential market, but I can't speak Japanese. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know how to do business with them. So that's why we're here. Even from your very first step, when you're just looking at Japan, understanding the market itself, what are the opportunities, what are the even regulatory measures that might affect your business here in Japan, and also even just what Yaoki mentioned about setting up your entity in Japan. So we have lots of supporting services trying to help you by solving the very basic, the hassle part of Japanese speaking. So providing information in English and also providing consultations with professionals like lawyers, tax consultants, everyone, for you to prepare yourself ready for Japan. As what also the other 2 panelists has mentioned, Japan is a market that takes time, patience, and also lots and lots of homework and market research to do. In order for you to find the right partner or even the key person that you should be hiring for the Japanese market itself. Jetro might not be the first part that brings you all to the whole journey, but probably we might be the first person or the first window to talking to in how you could enter the market.
Thank you very much. I guess it's really time to wrap up. But as we summarize here, there is a huge market and a potential for global startups to head into Japan. And yes, there are challenges, especially in the regional sector or in the regulatory aspect as well. But here you have the main people to really support you and work together with if you're really committed and interested to come into the market. So I'll just have lastly each panelist to sum up and give a message to the audience here, and we'll finish off, starting off from Mei Ling.
I would say Japan probably is not the market for every company. I think you look at what your solution can address, you look at what some of the key challenges Japan faces today, and then you look at the ecosystem of support. I think what between Enterprise Singapore and JETRO we try to do is to provide that ecosystem community of help that can guide you on your journey. Whether it's also to tell you maybe Japan is not the right place for you, because I think that is also valuable for you. Perhaps the most valuable thing you can hear from day one. So feel free really to tap on our networks. Of course, we are not alone on this. Between JETRO and Enterprise Singapore, we have also many other partners, including Leaf Nest, also sector-specific partners on the ground that can support startups and better understanding the sector landscape, market opportunities. So welcome you to reach out to myself, KY, and of course other startups, companies that have done well or have tried to go into the market to learn as much as possible when you're considering that move into Japan.
Thank you very much, Mei Ling. Yoki?
2 points. One is serious and one is less serious. Okay. I think we're very lucky in Singapore that we have so much support here and there. Other countries don't have all this. So please contact ESG, JETRO, Leaf Nest, whatever. They can provide as many. They are there to help you. That's their KPI. Okay. So ask them to help you in order to help them. Okay. So the second thing, traveling to Japan for the first time, it's very enjoying. When you reach the 10th time, it's like, do I have to go again? So I guess preserve, greet on, move forward, adapt. I think those are the few things that you need in order to expand to market. The only thing, if you feel so lonely or you feel down, enjoy the sake, umeshu, and the Japanese delicious food. Okay, that's the only thing that can hang you. Hey, I'm still going to Japan again.
Thanks, Elki. Kiwei, lastly.
I think I've wrapped up a little just now, so I'll do a short one. So, as I mentioned, Japan is not an easy market. It's definitely a challenging market, but a potential market. So, it doesn't mean that your technology or things that you want to bring in is unique or one of the kind that, and in order for you to enter the market, I've seen lots of actual success cases that it's the timing and also the right person you should be talking to find the right opportunity that you should be going into the market. So come to us or to ESG, to anyone that is supporting here. Yeah, we welcome you and we have our booth there. And we are doing one-to-one appointment for consultation. So feel free to book a slot with us, and we're very happy to meet all of you here.
All right, thank you very much. I heard it's the 60th anniversary of Singapore and Japan next year. Apparently, this whole session will not happen next year. It will evolve into its next scenario. So today's the last chance you get to meet us all. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening, and hope we have a future discussion. Thank you.
Big thank you to our panelists. Once again, big thank you to JETRO, who's our global partner.